Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're here to cut through all that digital noise and really give you the clearest, most impactful insights. And today, well, our mission is to get you totally up to speed on the iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max. We've been looking through like a whole stack of really fascinating leaks, reports about what Apple might be cooking up for the next generation. And we're basically going to distill it all down to the stuff that really matters, the game-changing insights for you.
Yeah, and what's really interesting here, I think, is that these leaks aren't just pointing to, small steps forward, incremental updates. The info we've seen suggests Apple is actually gearing up for some pretty foundational shifts, things that could genuinely redefine what we expect from a smartphone. It feels like they're looking beyond just iteration this time, real innovation across, well, several areas.
I can definitely see that from the reports. And yeah, when we talk foundational shifts, I guess we have to start with the most obvious one, the design. I mean, for years, it's been subtle tweaks, right? Refinements. But these leaks, they suggest Apple's making massive changes, a big aesthetic and functional overhaul. So looking at the rumored new look, what really jumps out at you first?
Well, the first major detail that catches the eye is the rumored switch and frame material. It sounds like for the first time in years, they're planning to move away from titanium on the Pro models and actually go back to aluminum.
Aluminum, really?
Yeah.
After all the focus on titanium.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't seem like it's just about cutting costs. The reports are suggesting it's more about getting a lighter weight and, crucially, better heat management. But the sort of deeper insight here, maybe, is that this shift, even with the Pro name, it kind of hints that Apple's maybe optimizing for manufacturing at scale and perhaps sustainability, too. Acknowledging that titanium, while it presented complexities, it seems they might be prioritizing long-term production feasibility, maybe environmental factors, even if it means a slight, perceived downgrade in material status. It suggests a new kind of, maybe one that's also practical, responsible.
Huh. That's a significant change. Definitely hints at, like you said, bigger strategic thinking. And it's not just the frame, is it? That square camera bump we all know.
Yeah.
Apparently that's transforming it to this large metal rectangle made from aluminum, rumor has it, and matching the phone color. And the flash and LiDAR sensor, they're moving reportedly to the end of the phone, not part of that main block.
Yeah.
And get this, below that metal camera rectangle, there's supposed to be a new large glass section, specifically for wireless charging. I mean, this isn't just a minor tweak. That's a completely different back panel design.
Absolutely. And these design shifts, they're not just for looks. Things like the internal redesign of MagSafe, moving the Apple logo down a bit, it all points to accommodating these big new elements. If we connect this to the bigger picture, these changes, they directly impact how the phone works and how you interact with it, which we'll definitely get into.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of changes, the phone itself might get a bit thicker to fit a larger battery, which honestly is probably a trade-off most people would welcome. But here's the fun stuff people always talk about, the colors. We're hearing whispers about a new orange, a new blue, and this really mysterious liquid glass color.
Yeah.
That one sounds wild. Apparently a shiny, sort of white-ish color that dynamically changes depending on the light. What's the thinking there? Sounds complex.
It sounds visually pretty striking, yeah. But what's perhaps insightful about a dynamic finish like liquid glass? It's not just aesthetics. It suggests Apple might be, pushing the boundaries of material science and consumer tech, maybe experimenting with smart coatings or some kind of advanced pigment tech to create a device that sort of adapts to its environment, makes it feel more personal for you, maybe less static.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah.
Making the phone feel almost, alive, responsive. And on a more functional note, what about the antenna? Any changes there?
Yeah, the antenna redesign sounds quite clever, actually. Reports suggest it's going to wrap entirely around that new camera rectangle. And that's not just for looks. The idea is it promises better, stronger, more stable network reception.
Okay.
Which is a pretty big deal for just everyday connectivity, making sure you stay connected more reliably.
Good point. Oh, and a new accessory. Something about a magnetic strap, like a dangler.
That attaches magnetically. It's a fun, sort of practical little touch we haven't really seen from Apple before.
Okay, so the outside sounds radically different. But ultimately, how we see our phones, how we interact day to day, that's the display. And it sounds like Apple has some seriously compelling upgrades planned there. For your actual viewing experience, what's standing out in the rumors about the screen?
Well, the big one, the real standout feature here, is the rumored introduction of an anti-reflection screen layer, apparently for the first time on an iPhone. And this is huge. It means significantly boosted contrast, much better clarity, especially when you're trying to use your phone in bright light. Or direct sunlight. You know that glare you get on your screen on a sunny day? That could become much less of a problem.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's a game changer right there.
Yeah.
I know I personally struggle reading stuff at the beach or just walking outside sometimes. So, yeah, hopefully no more squinting. That's a great point. I bet most listeners just picture themselves doing exactly that. But what kind of challenge is it, like engineering-wise, to put that layer on a phone?
It's definitely a significant optical challenge, yeah. You have to maintain clarity while effectively scattering those reflections. But the leaks also mention new display technology alongside it, offering very high brightness, but at the same time being more power saving. So the idea is you get a brighter, clearer image without killing your battery faster. Win-win. It is worth noting, though, the notch size itself. That's not expected to change this time around, so that familiar cutout will likely still be there.
Right, okay. A clearer, brighter screen is fantastic, definitely. But, I mean, none of these cool features can really shine without the power behind them, right? The engine.
So let's kind of lift the hood, so to speak. Talk about what's driving this new generation iPhone. What power are we expecting? So under the hood, we're looking at what should be Apple's most powerful processor yet, the A19 Pro chip. This is expected to be built on an enhanced 3-nanometer process, specifically N3B, which basically means a more advanced, miniaturized chip design. You pack more processing power, more efficiency into a smaller space. The result for you, higher performance pretty much everywhere, and crucially, better battery efficiency, doing more using less power.
Okay, so a super fast chip. What about memory? Does it need more RAM to handle all this, especially with all the talk about upcoming AI features?
Yeah, exactly. A pretty substantial jump is rumored there from 8 GB up to 12 GB of RAM. And this isn't just, more RAM for the sake of it. It's explicitly mentioned in reports as being crucial for these upcoming AI tasks that Apple is apparently focusing heavily on. More RAM just means better multitasking, smoother performance for really complex calculations, especially the kind needed for on-device AI.
Right, AI needs that headroom. But with all that power, especially running complex AI stuff, cooling becomes really important, doesn't it? To stop it throttling. What are the rumors saying about keeping this new chip cool?
This is where it gets quite interesting for keeping that performance stable over time. We're expecting them to introduce vapor chamber cooling technology, likely for the Pro Max, maybe even both Pro models. This tech, it's proven itself in other high-performance gadgets, and the benefits are pretty clear. Stable performance, even when you're pushing it with demanding games or graphics work. Also, significant battery savings because cooler batteries just last longer, they're more efficient. And, really importantly, it helps with long-term battery health, too. And what's fascinating is how it all connects. The extra RAM, that powerful A19 Pro, and especially the vapor chamber cooling. They aren't just separate upgrades, they really build a foundation for sustained peak performance, which is going to be vital for the advanced AI features that everyone expects are coming your way.
That integrated cooling approach sounds incredibly smart. Is there anything else surprising about how they might be using this better thermal management?
You're right to ask, actually. There's a peculiar detail in some leaks, that the cooling sheet might be connected directly to the cameras.
To the cameras?
Yeah, it's quite unique. And it strongly suggests that some powerful new camera features are going to leverage this enhanced cooling, allowing for, more intensive processing during photo and video capture without the phone overheating or slowing down.
Okay, that's a neat segue. From processing power to maybe the area Apple always pushes, the cameras. And these leaks, they don't just suggest evolution, they suggest a revolution. Where do we even start with the camera upgrades?
Yeah, there's a lot. Let's start with the front camera, the selfie camera. It's expected to double its resolution, up to 24 megapixels from the current 12. So basically, selfies, video calls, they should be twice as clear.
Yeah.
And reports mention more lens elements too, which usually means higher sharpness. That's a pretty big upgrade for, FaceTime, social media, all that.
Twice as clear. Wow, that's quite a bump. And the rear cameras? They're getting a major overhaul too, right? Something about parity across all lenses.
Yes, that's a big one. All 3 rear cameras, the main, the ultra-wide, and the zoom, will reportedly be 48 megapixels. That's a first for an iPhone, having the zoom camera at 48 MP. And that directly impacts the quality of your zoomed-in photos. It could potentially even double the effective digital zoom range while maintaining quality. Plus, having 48 MP sensors across the board, that removes the hardware roadblocks for things like 8K video recording. Makes it a really strong possibility for the iPhone 17 Pro.
Okay, 8K video, super high-res zoom. That's seriously advanced. But there's one rumor that feels almost, science fiction. A moving optical zoom lens. Can you unpack that? That sounds groundbreaking.
It really is, potentially. This is the truly revolutionary bit. Unlike current fixed lenses, where you hit a certain optical zoom and then it's just digital cropping, this rumored movable zoom camera would physically shift its lens elements inside the phone, much like a traditional camera lens does, to achieve true optical magnification across a whole range, not just at fixed points.
Wow.
The result is far, far better image quality at all those different zoom levels within the range. And beyond just the flexibility it gives you, the real insight here is maybe the investment it shows in miniaturized mechanics, really bridging the gap between a smartphone camera and traditional camera optics.
Yeah.
It feels like Apple doubling down on the iPhone as the primary device for creating content, basically putting an advanced lens system in your pocket.
Yeah.
Huge implications for pro mobile video and photo work. The leaks suggest a pretty remarkable optical zoom range too. Some say 3.5x all the way to 8x optical, others maybe 5x to 7x optical. Either way, unprecedented flexibility and creative control.
That level of creative freedom.
Yeah, for photographers, videographers, that's enormous. And thinking about content creators, there's another rumored feature that sounds like it would be a massive hit.
Absolutely. The native camera app itself is rumored to finally support recording from both the front and rear cameras at the same time. Yeah. You used to need third-party apps for that kind of picture-in-picture or split-screen recording. Having it built right into the default app, that's a huge win for vloggers, social media creators. Makes telling a story from multiple viewpoints so much easier. And it really raises that question again. How will something like a moving optical zoom lens truly change your photography?
That is a fantastic thought experiment for me. Instantly makes me think of all those times I'm at a concert or watching my kid play sports and just wishing for a bit more reach without the image turning into mush. What specific scenarios do you think everyday users or maybe even aspiring mobile filmmakers would see the biggest difference in? Well, for everyday users, exactly like you said, capturing action from a distance, maybe wildlife, maybe kids on a field, but getting a clear, detailed shot by smoothly zooming in optically. For filmmakers, wow, it opens up possibilities for dynamic zoom shots, rack focus effects, maybe storytelling techniques that were really only possible with dedicated cameras before.
Yeah, okay. And there are also strong rumors about a new physical button related to the camera, right? Not just the volume buttons or the screen?
That's correct. A new button, rumored to be somewhere on the side, maybe in the corner, specifically designed for easier one-handed shooting. But the really interesting part is how it supposedly functions. Reports say a swipe gesture on this button would let you zoom in and out.
On the button itself?
Yeah, which sounds like a brilliant ergonomic touch. Really quick, intuitive control while you're trying to frame a shot or film makes it feel much more natural, like a real camera.
Okay, so with all these pro-level camera features, it kind of makes sense Apple would want to give users more control, right? Is there talk of a new camera app to go with it?
Indeed. A new exclusive pro camera app just for the pro models is heavily rumored. Think granular professional controls, manual adjustments for things like ISO, shutter speed, white balance, maybe even more advanced cinematic modes, better access to ProRes video settings, really unlocking the full potential of all this new hardware for people who want to push their mobile photography and videography further.
Right. But okay, all these incredible features, the display, the power, the revolutionary camera, they don't mean much if your phone dies halfway through the day, do they?
Yeah.
Apple seems to be taking battery and charging really seriously this year. What are we hearing about power delivery?
Yeah, this is always crucial, isn't it? The iPhone 17 Pro Max is rumored to get the largest iPhone battery ever, capacity around 5,000 milliampere, which is a noticeable jump from the current iPhone 16 Pro Max, which is around 76 milliampere. So a decent bump for your daily usage.
That is definitely welcome news.
Yeah.
How big a difference is that in like real world use, especially powering all these new things? And what about repairability? Is that still improving?
Well, that larger capacity, combined with the efficiency gains from the new A19 Pro chip and maybe a new Qualcomm 5G modem, it promises not just more battery life, but also greater power efficiency overall. Everything sort of working together to stretch that charge as far as possible for you. And yeah, good point on sustainability. Apple seems to be continuing that trend of making repairs easier. There's talk of a new battery adhesive that makes installation and removal simpler, which is great for the device's longevity and ultimately less e-waste.
Yeah, repairability is great. But let's talk about a feature Android users have enjoyed for ages and iPhone users have been, well, let's be honest, desperately waiting for: reverse wireless charging. Is it finally happening?
It certainly looks like it this time. Reverse wireless charging is a long-awaited feature, and the leaks strongly suggest it's finally coming. So you'll be able to charge other key compatible accessories, like maybe your AirPods case or even another phone, just by placing them on the back of your iPhone. That's a huge convenience factor, right? Especially when you're out and about.
Huge. And faster wireless charging, too. What speeds are we talking about there?
You're right. Compatibility with the new Q2.2 standard is rumored. That's the latest global benchmark. And that could enable up to 25W wireless charging, but specifically with Apple-certified external chargers, which is a nice bump from the current 15W MagSafe limit. But here's the really wild part. The rumored MagSafe charging speed itself might hit up to 50W.
50 watts, wirelessly.
Yeah, potentially even faster than the expected wired charging speed, which might land around 35W this year. And if you connect all this back to the bigger picture, the bigger battery, the efficiency, reverse wireless charging, potentially super fast MagSafe, it really highlights Apple pushing for greater user autonomy and convenience, power when and how you need it.
That is seriously fast charging. Wow. And even the battery itself is getting a design tweak.
Yes, the battery is reportedly going to be L-shaped, maybe with a stronger metal casing to help prevent overheating, especially with faster charging, but crucially, still retaining that removable adhesive for easier repairs down the line. It feels like a thoughtful mix of performance and practicality for long-term ownership.
Okay, last big area. In our totally connected world, fast, reliable connectivity is just table stakes, right? Non-negotiable. What's new on the iPhone 17 Pro on the connectivity front?
So for the Pro models, the reports suggest they'll still rely on a Qualcomm 5G modem. And this is important because that Qualcomm modem supports the really advanced stuff like 0.6 gigahertz speeds and millimeter wave technology. That's the tech that gives you incredibly fast, high bandwidth connections, particularly in dense urban areas, though, usually over shorter distances. Apple's own modem, the C1 chip, which is expected in the regular iPhone 17 and maybe an Air model, apparently doesn't support those cutting-edge 5G features yet. So for the absolute top-tier 5G, Apple's still looking to Qualcomm.
Interesting strategy there, mixing and matching. But Apple is making moves with its own silicon for other connectivity, right? I heard something about Wi-Fi.
Absolutely. And this is a big step for Apple's internal chip development. For the first time, apparently all iPhone 17 models, including the Pros, will feature an Apple-designed Wi-Fi chip. And it will support Wi-Fi 7. Now, the iPhone 16 Pro already supported the Wi-Fi 7 standard, but this move to an Apple-designed chip is the key thing. It's not just about speed, although it should be fast. It's expected to offer better power efficiency, helping your battery life, and probably superior integration with all the other components in the phone. So yeah, the interesting angle here is seeing Apple continue that journey of bringing chip design in-house where it makes sense, while still using partners like Qualcomm for specific, very cutting-edge tech they might not have matched yet. An Apple Wi-Fi chip isn't just about speed numbers, it's about that deeper integration and optimizing power use for your everyday phone habits.
Okay, so potentially better battery life and smoother operation from that Apple Wi-Fi chip. Got it. And Bluetooth. Anything new there?
The Pro models will also reportedly get the latest Bluetooth 5.3 standard, which just ensures the most reliable, most efficient connections with all your accessories, whether that's your AirPods, your watch, smart home stuff, whatever.
Okay, wow. So let's try and wrap our heads around all this. What does it all mean for you, the listener? It feels pretty clear that if these leaks are anywhere close to accurate, the iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max, they are just small iterative updates. Not at all. They really could represent the start of a whole new generation of iPhone with these massive changes across design, the cameras, the power inside, connectivity. It's definitely an exciting time to be watching Apple.
It really is. And it brings up an important question, I think, for everyone listening. Considering all these ambitious, rumored changes we've talked about, if these leaks hold true, what's the one feature you're most excited about? What's the thing that would truly change your experience, maybe make you consider upgrading?
That's a great question, a really provocative thought to leave you all with. Something to chew on as we wait for the official announcements from Apple. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today.